Milan awakens slowly when the shop windows still sleep and the early morning lights reflect on the cold marble. The tram passes like a whisper, and the air smells of freshly ground coffee and ancient stone. On the surface, the city seems made of luxury and rhythm. Runways, offices, glass gleaming like mirrors. But beneath that polished skin exists another Milan, secret and silent, where time flows differently. A city that does not reveal itself, that can only be sensed among buried canals, forgotten cloisters, and legends that refuse to die. This is not the story of the Milan that shines, but of the one that breathes beneath. The one that keeps its soul among shadows, waiting, patiently, for someone to listen. In the heart of Milan, where today cafes fill with laughter and lights shimmer on the calm water, a past quietly hides, remembered by few. These are the Navigli, the canals that once made the city flow like a living organism, largely designed by a genius obsessed with movement and precision. Leonardo da Vinci. At the end of the 15th century, under the rule of the Sforza family, Leonardo did more than paint. He dreamed in hydraulics. His notebooks contain diagrams of locks, gates, and canals that controlled water flow and transported heavy goods. Among these loads, the marble destined for the Duomo traveled kilometers along waterways, connecting the northern lakes to the heart of Milan. Every stone that now rises to the sky first passed through the invisible arms of the Navigli, carrying with it the promise of an art that would defy time. For centuries, the canals were more than transportation routes. They were the city's backbone. Milan, though inland, functioned as a port. Boats loaded with wine, rice, wood, and silk crossed the city, connecting it to Switzerland, the Po River, and finally the Adriatic. It was a constant flow of goods, people, and stories, turning every dock and riverbank into a place of commerce and meeting. Streets were rivers, and rivers were arteries of life. Modernity, however, often comes at the cost of the past. Between the 1920s and 1930s, the regime decided to cover much of the canal network. They were seen as dirty, dangerous, and obstacles to traffic and urban growth. Milan began losing its riverine face, along with the memory of its secret functionality. Kilometers of water disappeared under asphalt and concrete, leaving only traces of what was once a complex and elegant system. The city gained avenues and cars, but lost the slow cadence of barges and the life revolving around the water. Walking along the surviving canals, the forgotten port side of Milan still resonates. The Vicolo dei Lavandai, a narrow alley where laundresses washed sheets and blankets, preserves the memory of female communities that organized their lives around the canal. Low houses with balconies overlooking the water and small courtyards reflect vernacular architecture combining work, community, and quiet resilience. Every stone and arch bears witness to generations who lived with water as a constant companion. Today, the Naviglio Grande and the Darsena offer a different scene. Bars, art studios, and cafes transform the banks into a bohemian space, frequented by locals and tourists seeking the charm of a recreated past. At sunset, golden light spills over the water, painting reflections that seem to suspend time. It is impossible not to feel the contrast between the Milan of hard work, sailors, and laundresses, and this modern, gentrified, aesthetic Milan. Yet beneath the terraces and bars, the essence of the canals persists. A city that built them and turned functionality into beauty still whispers through the water. The Navigli are more than a relic. They are a metaphor for Milan itself. The city has always known how to combine utility with elegance, practicality with art, and here it becomes evident. A centuries-old engineering feat that transported marble, food, and daily life, now transformed into light, water, and contemplative strolling. In its waters still flows the memory of Leonardo, of boats, laundresses, and docks, a memory of a city that knows how to hide its soul beneath the surface. Most visitors to Milan stop before the Duomo as if contemplating a monumental work of art. They photograph its marble facade, ascend to the terrace to admire the city, buy souvenirs, and move on. Few know, however, that beneath this white majesty lies another Milan, hidden, silent, breathing under the noise of tourists and the hum of trams. It is a city built upon itself over millennia, a palimpsest where each era leaves its mark. Imperial Rome, Paleo-Christian Milan, the medieval, the Renaissance, and the contemporary coexist in a subterranean labyrinth of stone, mosaic, and memory. At the heart of this underground world are the remains of the baptistery of San Giovanni alle Fonti, dating to the 4th century. This site witnessed a transcendent event. According to tradition, St. Ambrose baptized St. Augustine here in 387 AD, a ritual that would forever mark the history of Western Christianity. The octagonal baptismal fonts, still visible, seem to emerge from time with a silent force. Their shape and arrangement are not only functional, but symbolic. The octagon represents regeneration and eternity, a bridge between the human and the divine. Walking among the archaeological remains, one encounters walls that once formed houses, temples, and Roman streets. Fragments of colorful mosaics glimmer under artificial light, witnesses to centuries in which sacred space was constantly reshaped. Every stone, every layer of mortar, is a trace of how Milan has absorbed its history without erasing it. Here, the city feels like a living organism. It builds upon itself, preserves and conceals, allowing the ancient to dialogue with the modern without explanation. The contrast between surface and subterranean is striking. Above, tourists move among stained glass and gargoyles, photographing marble details while voices compete with the wind. Below, in the archaeological area, silence reigns. Only the echo of footsteps and the glint of light on the mosaics hint at the presence of those who walked here 1,000 years ago. It is a sacred silence, almost tangible, inviting reflection on a city that grew under the protection of bishops and emperors, when power and faith intertwined in ways that seem impossible today. Among the stone walls and baptistery remains, the continuity of the city is palpable. Milan does not destroy, it transforms. Every reconstruction and extension is a conscious decision to integrate the past into daily life. That is why the Duomo is not just a monumental building. It is a testament to the city's layered memory, a constant dialogue between what was and what is. While visitors seek selfies and panoramic views, beneath their feet, history beats in mosaics, pillars, and baptismal fonts, reminding us that what we see is only the surface of something far deeper. The lost baptistery is also a reminder of the fragility of time and the permanence of faith. The dim light illuminating the mosaics reveals details invisible to the hurried eye, while the scent of ancient stone and underground humidity wraps the space like a perfume of centuries. Here, each temporal layer overlaps naturally. Imperial Rome, with its urban planning and mosaics, Paleo-Christian Milan with its temples and rituals, the medieval with its reforms and additions, and the modern supporting the cathedral without erasing what lies beneath. Sotto il Duomo, Milan reveals its true character, a city that creates upon memory, respecting its past while making it part of the present. Amid the noise and crowds above, the underground silence reminds us that true history is not always seen, but felt. And in that silence, the lost baptistery continues its role: witness, guide, and guardian of the layers of time that make Milan a city unique, invisible, and eternal. Passing through the enormous iron gates of the Cimitero Monumentale, one does not simply enter a cemetery, but a theater of memory, a space where death transforms into art, and the history of Milan becomes tangible in marble, bronze, and stone. Inaugurated in 1866, the cemetery was designed by Carlo Macchiacini, who conceived an eclectic layout capable of combining solemnity and monumentality. At its center, the Famedio, or Temple of Fame, rises as a tribute to Milanese notables, a space where architecture converses with history and society. Every line, arch, and decoration speaks of the city's aspiration to remember and celebrate those who shaped its identity. What truly distinguishes the Monumental, however, is its funerary sculpture. Here, the dead do not rest anonymously. They become symbols, works of art that defy time. Melancholic angels delicately pose over tombs. Female figures seem to emerge from the marble to gaze toward the horizon, and the influence of artists like Medardo Rosso is evident in the softness of features and the expression of human fragility. Art Nouveau and Symbolist styles intertwine, creating a landscape that is at once contemplative and unsettling, where vanitas, the reflection on life's transience, becomes palpable. Among the most emblematic tombs, the Campari family's Egyptian pyramid stands out with its precise geometry, a reminder that memory can also be playful and extravagant. Poet and novelist Alessandro Manzoni rests in the heart of the Famedio, surrounded by sculptures and reliefs commemorating his influence on Italian literature. More contemporary, the Castiglione designers occupy spaces among sculptures celebrating creativity, demonstrating that fame can transcend life and inspire future generations who walk the cemetery paths. Equally significant is the Jewish section and the Holocaust Memorial, honoring nearly 800 Milanese deported during World War II. Designed by BBPR, the Rationalist Architects Collective, the memorial is austere and solemn, where minimalist geometry and the absence of ornamentation reinforce the gravity of remembrance. Here, history is presented without adornment. Suffering, loss, and resilience are inscribed in stone, reminding us that the duty to remember is as necessary as the duty to honor. Walking through the Monumental immerses visitors in a unique atmosphere. In winter, fog blankets the sculptures, softening the lines of marble and bronze, turning each path into a passage of reflection. Silence becomes absolute, broken only by the crunch of footsteps on gravel. It feels as though one walks among immortal figures, witnesses of past lives still conversing with the city that houses them. Every sculpture, tomb, and inscription invites reflection on life's fleeting nature and on how the living construct memory for the dead. The Cimitero Monumentale reveals something deeper than Milan's history. It reveals the city's relationship with death and memory. The way the dead are honored, whether bourgeois, artists, designers, or Holocaust victims, speaks of social values, aspirations, and silences. Each tomb, relief, and contemplative angel testifies to a society's attempt to perpetuate its identity through art and remembrance. In this space, the ephemeral and the eternal meet. The lives of those resting here, transformed into marble and bronze, contrast with the transience of those strolling the paths, reminding us that memory balances delicately between oblivion and homage. As one walks among sculptures that seem to breathe, it becomes clear that beyond fashion and commerce, Milan has a soul that acknowledges its history, its glories, and its losses. A soul revealed with silent intensity in the theater of memory that is the Cimitero Monumentale. These places that Milan hides within its folds, these silences amid the noise. Perhaps they deserve more than a fleeting visit. If you want to continue exploring with us the invisible geographies of European cities, subscribe to our channel. Every new video is a door that opens. Approaching the Stazione Centrale, one cannot help but feel small before its sheer magnitude. Inaugurated in 1931 and designed by Ulisse Stecchini, this station is not merely a functional building, but an architectural proclamation. Its style blends Art Deco with elements evoking the power of the fascist regime: colossal columns, ornamental friezes, monumental ceilings, and a symmetry that demands respect. Every line, arch, and sculpture seems to teach a lesson of strength and order, as if the city sought to communicate, through stone and marble, its ambition for modernity and control. During Mussolini's era, the station was more than a transit point. It was a symbol. Its imposing scale, open spaces, and rigorous geometry served as visual propaganda. The train, a vehicle of industrial progress and communication, became an emblem of advancement and imperial power. The walls, windows, and ceilings accommodated travelers while proclaiming the pride of a regime aiming to unite Italy in a continuous movement toward the future, as the city's gaze marveled at the cathedral of marble and steel. Within this same monument, however, hides a darker story. On Platform 21, now a memorial, thousands of Jews and prisoners departed for Auschwitz and other concentration camps during World War II. The traces of those who boarded these deportation trains remain invisible, yet the platform's air preserves their memory. The building's monumental design, intended to impress, confronts the horror of history. A space built to inspire power and pride also witnessed suffering and tragedy. The tension between architecture and memory, form and human destiny, makes Stazione Centrale a place of profound contradictions. Today, the station is a gateway of hopes, though in a very different sense. Migrants, travelers, and dreamers from around the world arrive here, carrying stories of change, resilience, and opportunity. The diversity of accents, clothing, and luggage flowing through the halls and platforms reflects a contemporary Milan, open, dynamic, and alive, contrasting with the rigidity of its marble structures. The city, which for decades built its image with ambition and monumentality, now also offers a space of connection, a point linking Milan to Europe and the world. This duality, cathedral of fascism and gateway of hopes, is quintessentially Milanese. The city is capable of grand gestures, colossal architecture, and bold planning, yet it must confront its history, sometimes belatedly and with difficulty. Stazione Centrale embodies this tension. The building commands respect with its grandeur, yet Platform 21 reminds us that memory and ethics cannot be overshadowed by marble and steel. Walking its halls, one senses the continuity of history and the need to acknowledge the past while shaping the present. In daily life, the station remains a place of constant movement. Suitcases roll across marble floors, conversations mingle with the sound of arriving and departing trains, and light filters through monumental windows, illuminating sculptures that watch silently. Yet, in the corners dedicated to memory, time seems to pause. The very monumentalism that impresses travelers also invites reflection, reminding us that Milan's history is measured not only in architecture, but in human actions and destinies. Stazione Centrale, more than a station, is a mirror of the city. Ambitious, contradictory, conscious of its power, and called to remembrance. On its platforms, centuries of history intersect. From fascist propaganda to deportation narratives, from migrants' hopes to the hurried steps of those merely catching a train. Every journey beginning or ending here reminds us that Milan builds and projects, but must also confront what lies beneath its surface. A past that, if unremembered, repeats, and a present that, if embraced, can transform. In the heart of Milan, amidst glass skyscrapers and modern avenues, rise two towers that seem to defy gravity and urban logic. The Bosco Verticale, conceived by Stefano Boeri and inaugurated in 2014. Yet these are no ordinary buildings. They are a forest reaching toward the sky, 900 trees, and over 20,000 plants and shrubs distributed across balconies and terraces, each selected to thrive with the local climate and solar orientation. Every leaf and branch forms part of a design that blends functionality and aesthetics, creating a vertical micro-ecosystem where the air is purified, sounds are softened, and nature is reinvented as architecture. Milan has always had a complicated relationship with nature. The fog of the Pianura Padana, centuries of factory pollution, and industrial smog have marked the city for generations. Green spaces were historically a luxury, an element foreign to the expanding urban fabric. And yet, here, in the Bosco Verticale, the city seems to reconcile with vegetation. This biophilic architecture is not merely decorative, it is a survival strategy. Each tree helps filter pollutants, reduce temperature, and create small refugees of biodiversity amid asphalt and concrete. It is an urban experiment, inviting reflection on how a city can breathe and coexist with nature without losing its identity. In many ways, these towers are a new cathedral for Milan. They are not made of marble or stone, but of chlorophyll and wood. Their verticality commands respect, their presence is monumental, and their message is clear. The city can reinvent itself. Like other eras of Milan, Roman, medieval, industrial, financial, these towers signify transformation. The city projects itself toward urban ecology, continuing its history and demonstrating that architecture can be a language of social and environmental change. Yet this green utopia raises questions. Is it a true ecological renaissance or a display of design and luxury accessible only to the wealthy? Apartments in the towers are highly coveted, exclusive, raising questions about social equity in a city that dreams in green. The vegetation that purifies and beautifies the city, who truly owns it? Is it a collective benefit or a privilege of a few? Boeri's ambition is undeniable, but reflection on social sustainability inevitably accompanies visual beauty. The Bosco Verticale also speaks to the future of 21st century cities. As urban populations grow, space shrinks, and climate change becomes tangible, this project proposes a radical solution: build upward while integrating nature. Every leaf and branch hanging from the balconies is a reminder that a city can be more than concrete. It can be a living organism, capable of regeneration and inspiration. Amid Milan, between streets and canals, the Bosco Verticale rises as a symbol of a tangible utopia. It is a city seeking to reconcile with its industrial past, to breathe after centuries of smog, and to find balance between functionality and beauty. Crossing the arches of the Galleria Vittorio Emanuele II, one enters a space that combines elegance, history, and an air of mystery. Inaugurated in 1877 by architect Giuseppe Mengoni, who tragically died after falling during construction, the Galleria is a marvel of iron and glass, crowned by an octagonal dome that lets in light in an almost celestial way. Its wide, gleaming corridors, flanked by luxury shops and historic cafes, immediately evoke the feeling of being inside a collective salon, a Salotto di Milano, where the city meets, converses, and observes itself. From its opening, the Galleria was much more than a commercial passage. It was a social and ritual space where the 19th century Milanese bourgeoisie displayed their status, discussed business, art, and politics, and built networks of influence that still resonate in the city today. Historic cafes like Biffi, Camperino, and Zucca hosted literary gatherings and cultural debates. Here, even the Campari was invented, a symbol of Milanese sophistication and taste. Architecture was not merely a shell. It was a stage, visually connecting the Duomo with La Scala, establishing a dialogue between religion, art, and economic power. Within this magnificence also exist secret rituals, embraced by the public with complicity and superstition. The most famous is the Turin Bull, depicted in one of the floor mosaics. Tradition dictates that spinning 3 times on the bull's testicles brings good luck, particularly in business and love. Every day, hundreds of visitors repeat the gesture, some skeptically, others with devotion, participating in a ritual that spans generations and highlights the mix of elegance and superstition that defines Milan. The Galleria is a microcosm of the city, reflecting its dynamism, ambition, and love of display, but also its human and whimsical side. Every showcase, mosaic, and iron lamp tells a story of commerce, power, and beauty. Here, the modernity of iron meets the tradition of marble. The light streaming through the dome filters onto the faces of tourists and Milanese alike, illuminating conversations, hurried steps, and curious glances. It is a space that invites both walking and observing, participating in the urban spectacle, and entering a ritual that transcends centuries. Mengoni's architecture is not merely a technical achievement. It is an act of controlled ambition and display, where every detail, from frescoes to mosaics, reinforces the city's identity as a cultural and commercial hub. Walking through the Galleria, one senses how Milan has merged function and symbol, business and pleasure, history and modernity. Here, the city presents itself as it wishes to be seen: elegant, active, superstitious, and aware of its past. In this Milanese salon, visitors become both spectators and participants. Every gesture, step, and spin on the bull reminds us that the city is not only a physical place, but a social and symbolic space where ancient rituals coexist with contemporary fashion and commerce. The Galleria. Vittorio Emanuele II, in its arches and showcases, encapsulates the essence of Milan. A city that observes itself, displays itself, celebrates itself, and reinvents itself, always keeping one foot in history and the other in the present. In the heart of Milan stands a structure that is far more than a castle. It is a silent witness to the city's history, a palimpsest of power, art, and scars. The Castello Sforzesco was founded as a Viscontian fortress in 1368, and over the centuries it transformed with each domination and every military or cultural need. Under Francesco Sforza in 1450, the castle became a ducal residence, a palace of ambition and luxury, integrating walls, towers, and courtyards in a composition that reflected the power of the family ruling Milan. Later, under Spanish and Austrian rule, the castle lost part of its palatial function, becoming a barracks and defensive stronghold, adapting to the interests of its occupants while maintaining its imposing presence over the city. The Torre del Filarete, destroyed in 1521 during warfare and rebuilt in 1905, symbolizes the way Milan rewrites and recovers its history. Its current form is an act of invented memory, a gesture seeking continuity with the past while acknowledging that some losses can never be fully restored. From there, the view of the castle and its courtyards shows the transformation of a closed power space into one open to the public. The Patio delle Armi and the Court Ducale, which once hosted military maneuvers and courtly celebrations, now allow strolls, exhibitions, and cultural gatherings. The fortress ceases to be inaccessible and becomes a stage for public life, a symbol of adaptation and resilience. Among the treasures it houses, few move the visitor as much as Michelangelo's Pietà Rondanini, the artist's final work. Unfinished, with barely outlined forms, it conveys a profound meditation on death and human fragility. The piece seems to whisper from the marble, reminding us that even artistic glory coexists with imperfection and temporality. Contemplating it is to experience the creator's silence and the echo of centuries of history in a single gesture of stone. The castle does not end within its walls. It opens onto Parco Sempione, a green lung that replaced military fields and fortified spaces after Italian unification. Where exercises and maneuvers once took place, citizens now stroll, run, sit by the water, and observe the trees that have replaced cannons. This urban transformation reflects how Milan can convert the legacy of war into everyday life, turning spaces of military discipline into places of freedom and recreation. The Castello Sforzesco is, in essence, a multiple witness. It has seen ducal glories, court intrigues, foreign invasions, bombings, and reconstructions. It has been fortress and palace, barracks and museum, space of death and creation. Its walls and towers narrate the story of a city that survives, adapts, and reinvents itself, preserving in every stone the memory of what was and the promise of what can be. Walking through its courtyards, observing the Torre del Filarete, or pausing before the Pietà Rondanini is to experience Milan as an organism that breathes with its past. Every corner of the castle speaks of ambition, fall, loss, and rebirth, reminding us that history is neither linear nor perfect, but a tapestry of events that define the city's identity. Amid the stone, marble, and greenery of the park, the Castello Sforzesco remains a symbol of Milanese resilience, a witness to scars and splendors that invites reflection on continuity and transformation across time. Milan does not reveal itself immediately. Its secrets flow beneath the surface, the golden waters of the Navigli, the mosaics and baptismal fonts beneath the Duomo, the silent angels of the Cimitero Monumentale, the ritual of the bull in the Galleria Vittorio Emanuele II. Each layer unveils the story of a city that builds upon itself, transforming its space and identity over centuries. It is not only a metropolis of runways and offices, it is also a city that reinvents its past, combining ambition, uneasy memory, and hidden beauty. The buried canals, the stratified stones, the vertical forests, the enduring rituals all speak of a Milan that resists being understood merely by its surface. Discovering it requires patience, looking beyond marble and glass, listening to the whispers of time, following the echoes of history through its courtyards, streets, and squares. Every corner is a testament to memory, resilience, and reinvention. And as the city breathes beneath the footsteps of those who walk it, one question lingers. What other Milans remain hidden, waiting to be found by those brave enough to look with attention and curiosity?